Welcome to Mo's Market Pulse. I'm your host, Sarah Mokram, founder of Mo Digital Solutions, where we help businesses hit their revenue goals and thrive. On this podcast, we talk with industry leaders who are building, scaling, and navigating growth in real time. And today, we're joined by someone operating in a really interesting corner of the SaaS world, inside one of the largest enterprise platforms on the market. Roach is the founder and CEO of Checklist Pro, a ServiceNow partner application used by hundreds of thousands of users globally. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Sarah. Good to be with you.
To set the stage for everyone listening, I'd love to start just at a high level. ServiceNow is a name many people recognize, but few understand how partner businesses like yours actually fit into that ecosystem. How do you typically explain what Checklist Pro does and who it's built for?
So I always tell, and a lot of times people have to know what ServiceNow, the company is and what they do. So if you're a ServiceNow customer, understanding that they are really the preeminent workflow management system that the whole world really uses. I mean, they're probably the dominant player there. And they're in a lot of different verticals, but their, cloud hosted managed service, a platform as a service is there. Now, where we fit in is they have a whole ecosystem. In fact, they have resellers, they have trainers, they have uh, uh, consulting and implementation partners, and then they have the SaaS partners, which is us, which they call their build partner. We entered that space in 2019 with our app, Checklist Pro, which is a no code platform tool that helps customers build solutions on the ServiceNow platform faster. So it's some time savings with cost savings, so that you're not being inefficient with your precious license capital, and also to help reduce risks. And it's a technical product. It's a tool on that platform that people use for a variety of reasons. And so that's those couple that I mentioned there are some of the short, succinct reasons why people are using us.
And can you walk us through what you were doing before Checklist Pro existed and what problem kept showing up that eventually led to you building this?
Yeah, so we were actually, if you go back to 2018, we also became, so we're headquartered in Washington, D.C. metro area in the United States. And we do a lot of ServiceNow professional services to U.S. federal customers. This is pretty typical. That would be that consulting and implementation partner that I talked about. And back then, ServiceNow did a niche consulting and implementation partner called public sector partners. And we were in that. We were in that program. And that's what we did. And so for earlier the years, before 2019, all the way back to 2012, we were doing uh, strictly professional services for customers that needed assistance on that platform. And over that time, uh, the hands-on with the customer, working with these folks, we started just noticing repeatable patterns is easy to use as ServiceNow platform is. Customers still tend to want to use partners to help and assist them. They don't want to necessarily always do it themselves, and they don't have the team in house to do that. So there's a need there, and we fill that need, in particular in the U.S. federal space, just because of our location where we were. A lot of work in that area. Federal government is a big buyer of ServiceNow, and so, but we noticed in the typical workflow, business, IT, service management opportunities that we were addressing at the time, there was a lot of things that people were doing over and over again that required coding or a certain level of expertise that I just felt it would be nice if we made this easier for folks to use. And what I'm talking about in particular, ServiceNow gives you standard forms and applications through their web interface, but it's also a very highly configurable platform so that it could be, those same forms and tables and storages could be updated. And it's usually good to have a partner guide customer through that process, which is what we did. But we just noticed that everybody's doing this, and it's hard. It can be hard for them to do this, and you have to do it the right way or risk incurring some technical debt and having upgrades be difficult. We came up with Checklist Pro as a way to say very easily through no code, be able to make some simple mods to the forms that you see on your screen, to the tables that sit behind them that persist all that data. And because ServiceNow has a whole variety of different types of user interfaces that have different technology stacks that support those UIs, people would be multiple times doing the same work over and over to support this. We just did all that for them with our tool. So that was a very technical sell, if you will, and I saw the opportunity there, and it stuck. It was a need, and we kind of grew from there.
Great. And so has Checklist Pro evolved then over all of these years, or is it still what you brought it out as in the very beginning in
Well,
2019?
yeah, no, it's definitely evolved. In the beginning, it was kind of like the name says. You think of checklist, you think of just a little checkbox. But after a while, I mean, some of the early iterations, we said, we should do more than just a checkbox. People might want to enter like a date or a number or a choice list or a whole variety of data types. And so it became more rich, like in terms of, functional capability. And then we started saying, hey, one checklist should have a sub checklist. And then we started saying, hey, some checklists should be shared, one checklist shared by many people. And it continued to evolve on a technical level. And then what we started to figure out was that it's still just a tool. It's a tool, much like ServiceNow has out of the box reporting, for instance, and they have whole other products like their platform analytics, performance analytics, rather, sorry, that they sell as an application, basically to do advanced reporting and analytics. But it's still, you need to actually do something with those products. Same with ours. You actually have to build something with our tool in order to get the value. So we started to pre-build solutions that we thought are commonly used type things that everybody having a ServiceNow platform could use. Things like data stewardship. Every ServiceNow customer has users and groups. And so do you have any kind of data stewardship solution on your platform that helps govern, hey, are the right people in the right groups? This is the thing. And same goes for like users and managers, people and their departments and their locations. All these sort of things are fundamental data platform things that we started building solutions with a checklist because conceptually people understood, oh, here's my group, I manage it, and here's all the people in the group listed as a checklist item. And uncheck the person if they're not in your group, and then use this little select box and add a person or two or however many that should be in the group and say, yep, now it's good. And we take care of all the rest within the ServiceNow platform to your external systems like Active Directory, wherever it might be. And it's just very intuitive. So we started building applications like this that we just give away to customers. So they don't just have product features, they actually have turnkey solutions too. And that has continued to grow for us.
That's great. And operating inside of a platform ecosystem creates a different growth dynamic than traditional SaaS. So, in practice, your customer universe is defined by really those who use ServiceNow. How
Correct.
do customers typically discover Checklist Pro today?
That's a really great question. I mean, that's the whole. So me as a developer type, architect developer, that's my nature, and our team is built similar to me. That's been actually the part that I feel like needs the most attention for us. I'm always curious when I talk to new customers, how'd you hear about us? And because really, we have our website, we do some LinkedIn advertising. We haven't played too much with like Google ads or anything like that or email campaigns. It's been really amazing the growth that we've had simply through our activity in the ServiceNow community and our, sort of word of mouth, or as we go from a customer to do professional services, they find out about us and they say, oh, wow, because we're trusted. We become a trusted, source to do their work. But that's no way to scale, right? That wasn't, definitely not scaling for us. And so when we started about 2 years ago, we realized that that's what was going on, or that was a limitation for us. So we really made a point to just build relationships with other ServiceNow partners in the ecosystem and let them have the boots on the ground and configuration, dollars associated with custom development on ServiceNow with Checklist Pro, we could say, give that up and we'll just, support them and work on the subscription cost. That's really been a really good model for us. And it helps our partners, they can partake of it. And, we're almost leveraging these other organizations to help promote our growth. So, and that has actually happened. We have some really good partners and great customers too.
Great. And at the same time, with the visibility that you get through the ServiceNow platform, that doesn't always probably translate cleanly to decision maker awareness, would you say? And how do you see the difference between technical users who love the product, who are interested in it, and then the buyers who ultimately approve it? How does that look for
That's a
you?
great question because the people that use our tool are the developers, the implementers, or even but sometimes it's, because it's a no code solution, you have business process analysts and people like that. They're just, application owners that understand, hey, this is like I run the service desk and I understand this. I may not be a developer, but I can use our this checklist. I can build a checklist and I can have it applied to my incidents and it works for me. But those are the really technical hands-on people, and they're not always the same people. They're almost never the same people that are making the buy decisions that you have to convince that, hey, this is worth the investment for us. And so those folks sit those types of decision makers tend to have like the titles of system owner or VP of engineering or program manager, types positions that you have to reach. And I mean, this is why you have, sales and you have marketing in an attempt to try to reach those because your message, and I'm actually slowly learning this, is that my instinct is always to say, I like to show the feature. I like to show how cool it is. Even myself. I mean, I run the company, but I kind of get geeked out about that. And I'm learning through my team and people that are better skilled than me in this area. It's like, no, you got to talk about the outcome, not so much about the tactical how it works. So it's good. It's an evolution and progress for us. If I'm being honest, is to just better message what we do, why it's important, the value proposition, and that's why you'll start to hear me like when I gave you that opening statement about the sort of like the one line or the quick 30-second. You'll hear me talk about like time savings because that speaks to like, hey, if you can build one checklist and it's just no code and it runs across all the UIs, there's time savings, there's less skilled technical resources involved. That's also, and that impacts cost savings. And there's a couple other key points that we make that is much more appealing when you tie it back to use cases and pain points that these people and like CIOs that are in those type of leadership positions will relate to. So we're in the middle of sort of marketing and sales, language shift here. And I'm hoping that's going to pay even greater dividends for us. Luckily, we've got a good solid start technically. So we're grounded well.
And as you think about this more intentional growth right now and shifting that messaging, how confident do you feel about your current ability to consistently generate that new demand beyond just this referrals and organic discovery?
Well, we're gonna need more help there. If I'm just being honest, I think we're gonna, we rely pretty heavily right now on our partners for that. So they're, we like to partner up with not, the bigger partners are great, but smaller partners that have deep, experience and are recognized for either their location within the world or their specialization in certain areas of the platform. This all helps. We have to leverage that. We have to build that out and then internally, it's really the buck stops here with me to try to put the right team together and give them the right resources to kind of get after this. And, they're explaining things to me too. So it's definitely a work in progress there for us and certainly for me. But yeah, we're gonna get there, and we have to just better message. That's the big thing, building awareness. I mean, this is a push for us right now. We're always going to keep doing new and adding on features and functionality. Messaging and outreach uh, is going to be is a priority for us. We'd have to do this.
Would you say, because you are just sharing so much about kind of that struggle, right? Of you're a technical founder, and having to learn and explore messaging and sales and marketing now because you have had so much great success just organically through the platform and ecosystem of ServiceNow. So, what would you say has been the hardest part about for you as a technical founder of shifting that mindset from just building great software, a great solution that can help people to now shifting and thinking about building a predictable growth engine?
Yeah, this is a real big learning step for me because it's things like, my messaging is always very much like, here's what the service does. And a lot of times people, what I'm learning is that you don't want to just be a one trick pony. You have to, show, I think it's important to show that there's thought leadership, that there's, some industry awareness, there's trends, there's, you're going to make statements that may not necessarily have to do anything with, or what appear to not be any with your product. It doesn't always have to be about the product. It can just, you start to build, you have to build sort of credentials or, trust in other aspects that what I'm hearing is what I'm being told. And it's like not natural for me to say, "Oh, I have people that will write something and I'll say, oh, yeah, that sounds really good. I see what you did there," and then we'll announce it. But of course, a lot of times it's coming out through me or through our company, and it's interesting. I think it's going to have a good effect. We're literally just getting started with this stuff in the last month or so, couple months. New website, new branding, new logos. All some of the key literature is giving facelifts. Looking at the various ways to communicate this. So this is coming off the ground as we speak. It's a
That's
chat.
exciting. And so, with partnerships, going back to the partnership angle, that has obviously played a big role for you, both within ServiceNow. And is it accurate that you also partner with people for implementation
Absolutely.
too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how do you think about that trade off between letting partners carry out implementation and maintaining direct control over that customer experience?
We train up our partners, and it's really it is, I know from the beginning that once we train them up well, they know these customers well. Obviously we know our product super well, but some of our partners have done some pretty amazing things. They've built their own solutions that they can go ahead and they can decide, hey, we're going to offer this as a premium solution on top of your base product. Is that okay? Yes, absolutely. I want our partners to monetize these things and get those professional services hours. That's going to help us scale. That's my attitude. Is that just helps us scale. And by the way, the other thing, and I guess we never really said this, but one of the challenges that I know we face is we're a small little company because we're just focused on this app. It allows us to kind of remain small but appear big because a larger end customer suddenly is less concerned about our size as a company. Like they're like, this is a big investment, right? So when customers buy Checklist Pro and use it, it's as likely to get thrown out as ServiceNow is because they're using it and they're baking us into all the workflows and things that they're doing. That's just what it's like. I like to, if we're going to give a non-technical comparison, it's like if you buy a house, well, the house would be like ServiceNow. But if you need windows because they're leaky and they're old or whatever, and they're not real efficient, we're kind of like the windows. It's like you put the window in there. It's like you need it. It's like, oh, these look good. They're better for us, and all this. Everything is great. So and then who puts it in? It's like it's our partners, and they know the customer. We get feedback. There is a really good feedback loop between the customer, the partners, and us. And a number of our features that have come over the years have been through that loop and it's discerning sometimes that like, now, this is something that you guys need to build for them as a customization. We're not going to build that into the app. That's going to take us off the rails a little bit. But that's an opportunity for the partner to do something. Either that or just own it altogether and hey, resell it to someone else as well. or it's just a custom build for that particular customer. But there's no question, Sarah, that this has been a winning strategy for us, that the customers have the partners, they trust the partners to do this work for them. And when they make the recommendation, you guys really should use Checklist Pro. This is going to save you money. It's going to save you time. It's going to lower the bar for technical skills required. It's going to reduce the risk because you're not going to overprivilege users, blah, blah, blah. And we'll help you get there. That's awesome because then it curries favor for our partners with the customers. Our customers love it. That's, by the way, how we became in my opinion, we became the fourth rated app in the store of over 3,000 apps, because I think our customers and partners are not just, customers and partners. They're fans. They love us. They're bought into the whole thing. And so it's really exciting. I love their support and we're grateful for that.
And if you look honestly at your business today, where do you feel there's the biggest blind spots or even the biggest unanswered questions that you need to look into?
Blind spot. I still think that, like, I can get excited. I think there's a blind spot for just the messaging, why is it so important? Why you need a checklist engine like ours? How does that really, really help you? Like, I say something very quickly, like, hey, you can put a checklist on any record in ServiceNow. That's true. But so what? You know, it's that addressing the so what can be a long answer. It's really kind of very succinctly articulating that. And we can with use cases. And now that we have this kind of big set of customers and total number of active users and around the world, and commercial and federal customers all over the place, different sectors, you start to get these stories that you can tell, and it's convincing. But that blind spot is all, for me, it's just messaging. We really have to better articulate the value prop and understand what the customers are struggling with. One of the things that's easy that everybody gets is cost savings. If you have a customer that's locked into a basic ITSM subscription model, they're not doing something where they can have an all you can eat, unlimited, roles and users, but they're limited by how many, different ITSM roles and, they could have, or the costs go up. This is a no brainer. This is where having our tool is like the easiest sell of the world, because we've got customers doing that. They're taking advantage of the cost saving aspects that Checklist Pro brings. Everybody gets this. Like, hey, you want to spend X amount of dollars and get 4X times the value back? It's easy to lay that out. And then ServiceNow, they get the benefit of that too, believe it or not, because it's a little bit delayed, because then the customers, they don't just take those savings and run. They reinvest it back into the platform so that they can do things like AI, which is expensive. They can add other applications that are on their roadmap for things that they want to do, because you don't want to just buy ServiceNow for one little, like just ITSM. That's how it kind of came into existence and was known. It does HR, it does SecOps, it does all sorts of different verticals that customers can and probably should take advantage of. Question is, can they afford it? And we help them afford it. That's the easy sell. The harder sell is the little bit more of the technical end. What's the value of putting a checklist on there? What do you really get at it? So we're still, it's a little bit of a blind spot for us. The other thing that I would say, long answer, because I'm used about this a lot of times, is just the whole SaaS marketplace. I'm sure you watch this, or you've seen this. It's like everybody's talking, oh, AI's coming. SaaS businesses are going down. What's going to happen? Is that a concern? I'm watching that carefully, and I'm, like, we're booming, like we're doing well, but we are a SaaS player, no question. We're software as a subscription. That's our model, and I'm trying. It's like you don't want to be caught, like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? So I'm not paranoid, but I'm like I said, because the business has never been better. But there's no doubt that I mean, you could probably tell me. I think there's some questions about some of the SaaS companies, including ServiceNow, have taken a hit recently. And why is that? And am I missing something? Is there something that we need to kind of get in front of? So I'm watching and, like, intrigued and a little bit making pensive about what's going on. What do we need to be concerned of? Are we missing something? The blind spot. How do you know if you have it? But I I I I think there's something happening in the industry, and we just need to make sure we stay in front of it. But right now, it feels like we are. We're feel like we've never been better in terms of excitement and in terms of, customer growth and that sort of things. But yeah, keeping
So
an eye out.
yeah, that transitions well into my next question of just looking ahead to the next 6, 12 months. What are the most important priorities that are on your radar right now?
We're gonna keep building more features into the app. We're gonna just make our app an overwhelming value, add with its the ri- there's and it's that and doing that, it also helps push out, potential, competitive threats, including customers. They're trying to build some of this themselves internally. Like, no, buy, don't build it. Focus on other things. Build other things, but like let us handle this. Let us give you a tool that will, you know, really supercharge your team's ability, lower the technical ceiling and requirements to make you take advantage of what you can do on the ServiceNow platform. We handle all the heavy lifting with the UIs and stuff. We're gonna build features. We're gonna build more pre-built solutions. We're gonna do more partner collaborations. We're gonna have more partnerships in general. We're increasing our. It's really a big time, shift in terms of, you know, presence and sales. Like, I'm grateful for this opportunity to be with you, with your show. You're watched and respected, and it's just a great, platform to be on. More like this. So that for sure, sales and marketing. That's really really a driver for us. More so even than the technical, frankly, because the product is prime time right now. It really is, and of course, it's always going to get better. But really getting adoption up there is the top priority.
So when you think about success in, sales and marketing, since this is a newer route for you guys, what would tell you that those efforts are actually working?
I would say we would have more meeting and requests. So you can go to our website, checklistproapp.com, find out why customers are choosing us, about the product itself. It's a nice looking site. Just recently we relaunched it. It looks really good. You can book a meeting with us from there. So meetings booked with prospective customers, right? That would be a tell that, hey, we're getting more meetings, because really what happens is when we get more meetings, we always say after the meeting and you understand a little bit about the tool, and if it's a match, even slightly, to what you're doing. Because if you have ServiceNow, in my opinion, you should have our app. I'm sorry, I believe that. But if you're curious enough to have the meeting, the next step is always like, do the free evaluation on your instance. I mean, if a prospective customer can make the investment to say, we had the 1 hour meeting with them, or half an hour meeting, whatever you decide is enough. And we'll approve your evaluation of our app on your instance. Go for it. Kick the tires. Try it out. We don't want to just increase sales. We want you to use it. We have fans and not just customers. Our customers love it, and they're great references for us. Like I said, that's why they've driven us to this number 4 by rating status on the platform, in the store. So kick the tires, try it out, and we'll help you. Our partners will help you, and we'll help our partners help you. And if it's not right, or the timing isn't right, no problem. But that will tell me, like, if we start to see an increase, then I'll know our campaigns, whether it's email or the SEO behind the scenes, the ad spend, that kind of stuff, increase partners and word of mouth, training them up, doing collaborations. That ultimately, that's just activity. If that doesn't translate into the things that I just mentioned, like more meetings booked, more trials underway, and then closing, more customers, then we're not doing something right.
Gotcha. Well, Ty, this has been a great conversation. I've really appreciated you being on our show today. And I just want you to share, though, for anyone who wants to keep up with you and learn more about Checklist Pro, where is the best place for them to connect or follow along?
You can find me and in our company on LinkedIn, of course, Ty Roach, TYROACH, on LinkedIn, and our website, checklistproapp.com. We're in the ServiceNow store, so store.service-now.com. We're on, if you sort by rating, we're on page 1, number 4. So we're right there, and you can find out about the app there. You can find out about it more on the the website, follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll see regular, updates from us about what's going on. And that's probably the best way.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning into Mo's Market Pulse. And Ty, thank you again for joining us today.
Thanks, Sarah.